So I've got a folder with some quarterly reports. I've got two in this Tolko file here, and we're going to query these quarterly reports and add a custom manual file to there. So here I'm going to start by first of all saving this file. Then I'm going to do a query, so data, get data from file, from folder. I'm going to point at the Tolko folder. Hit open. Combine and transform. So I'll do a few things, clean up this file. I'm going to take this one here. I'm going to split. I'll say 7 from the left. Get rid of the source name. Rename this one. Put that over here. And let's just check out anything else. See, there's a few blank columns came in for whatever reason. Okay, so it's looking pretty good. Okay, that's great. So I'm going to just close and load. Okay, so this is great. We can have this data. Now here's the dilemma. So say we have these invoices and we just have to wonder if they're paid. So I'm going to go down here and add a column called paid. I'm just going to filter here for a minute. Just going to put yes in a few of these. Control Enter, we'll put that all in. So now I've got a few that I've marked paid. The problem is that this manual column doesn't stay where it's supposed to be. And so what happens is if I go here and let's say I do a sort here, I'm just going to sort this column. And then if I refresh the import, then if I go back here and I click in here and I just resort it again, it's out of whack. And those manual lines that I've put in here, those check marks are way down, lost in space, and they don't stay attached to the files or to the items that we said they're going to, or that we want them to. So that's the problem, and I want to fix that for you. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to remove this column. Okay, first thing, this first query that we did, the one called Tolko, it just tracks the data that is coming in. So as we add more files or if we remove files, then it will disappear. So I'm going to make another query off this table. So I can do that by going to data, from table range. It's all good. And I'm just going to hit close and load. And so this one here, I'm going to call this one step 1. And I'm actually going to go back to this query. I'm going to call this one step 1. And I'm going to change this here to the last line in there. I'm going to rename that also to step 1. Close and load. I'm going to go over here now and I'm going to say paid. I'm going to do a filter here. And I'm going to mark these as yes with a control enter. We'll put the yeses in there and I'll clear my filter. So now I've got a bunch of items randomly marked as paid. And again, if I do a sort and refresh, everything will get broken. So I can't do that. So what I need to do to make this query work where this yes will stay is before I do the refresh from the Tolko into this one, I need to take a snapshot of this report with the yeses, and then I need to merge those two together. So here's how we're going to do this. So I'm going to take this query again, and I can go to data and do that, or I can do a right click and right from here and get data from table range. And I'm going to go this, I'm going to call this one step 2. I'm going to go over here to the advanced editor. I'm going to copy all of this code, basically this whole query. Hit Control C and hit done. And that's all that I need. I just needed that. So I could keep this if I want to, but I don't. So I'm going to close this and discard this. I really don't need that. Then I'm going to go into the step 1 and I'm going to right click on here and edit this. I'm going to go to the advanced editor. Here's the code in it. Now every line in the PowerQuery editor ends with a comma except for the last one. So when I go to end here, you can see there's no comma there. So I'm going to type a comma and push enter because I'm going to add these lines and push enter. So you're going to see now that I've got the original query plus the second query. Now the step query, it's got its own source. So I have to call this one here source 2, and right here I'm going to call this source 2. And I'm going to rename just so that when it's finished, it's going to be the step 2. All right, so that's great. So now I've got one part. It's going to query the Tolko query. That's the first part. And it's going to query the table in step 1. These are the two queries that is happening. So I hit done. So now further in here, now I need to merge those queries. So I'm going to hit merge query. Here's the step 1 query. And I want to also add the Tolko query. I need to select the record and the record so that they have exact matches going on here. And I have to change this. It says all from first, which is step 1, and matching from second, but that's not what I want to do. I want to get all from the Tolko. So that's going to be a right outer. All from the second, so everything from the Tolko, which is going to determine sort of all the data that's coming in, and anything that matches from step 1, which already has the yeses in it. So now I'm going to hit OK. Now, in here, I just need to check this. From step 2, we're going to get record. Tolko record. Yes, this looks good. And so now I can see here's the merged fields. Which fields do I want to bring in? So I already have all the fields that I need, but I have to pick one from here. I can't have nothing in there. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to turn them all off. And I'm going to choose the record because I have to pick something. So I hit OK. So now I have the record. But I also already have the record like over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this one. I'm going to take this record and move to the beginning. And I'm going to rename it record. And I think we're done. So let's just see what happens here. Close and load. Notice there's 1816 rows in Tolko, 1816 rows loaded here. If I go like this and change the order. So I'll just sort by something else. I'm going to hit refresh. Load in all the data. Load in all the data. I'll go back here and go back to sorting, and all the S's stayed. I'm going to go into the folder here, and I'm going to add more files. So I'm going to add another file into here. So I've added a new quarter. So when I hit refresh all, you can see I now have 2,750 rows. So it imported the new rows, but it preserved all of the paid. I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to take this Tolko sheet, and I really don't need it now that I know that. I delete this sheet and leave the query intact. It'll be only a connection. So I'm going to give that a try. Delete. Yes. And now this Tolko one is connection only. So it's remembering the step, but it's not doing anything. It's not exporting to any page. So let's go back here. I'll add another quarter. And I got 2,753 rows. There's about 850 in each one of these queries. So I'll hit refresh. 3,000 just works perfect. So that's how you can have a query and have a manual column and have it keep its data.